But right now we're going to move on then to CEOs that are in trouble. The main CEO, Larry Fink, has been called into question by some of the investors. Perhaps you can shed a bit more light on that story.
Yeah, happy to do so. So Larry Fink has been he's been criticised by an activist investor. The activist investor is Bluebell Capital Partners. They've taken a reasonably small stake in BlackRock, to be fair, and they have basically asked Larry Fink to resign or to be fired. They think his approach is inconsistent with his focus on ESG and things like that. Essentially, they think Larry Fink is not woke enough, which is kind of strange because, I mean, you have the Republican Party on one side saying Larry Fink is the most woke man on the planet, and you have like the Democratic side who say Larry Fink is not doing enough for ESG, and Bluebell are obviously firmly sitting on this left-wing side. But Steve, do you have any information on Bluebell? Are they something you've looked at before?
I know a little bit about them. They're, I think, an ESG enthusiast bunch. So BlackRock talk a good ESG game, I guess is the accusation here, and don't really act a good ESG game. It's a big thing of their kind of ETFs that they push their ESG credentials. They're kind of big ESG pioneers. We've historically expressed, not to do with BlackRock specifically, but skepticism about some of the ESG movement or initiative, I guess, in general. And there's an idea, I think, from Bluebell that this is basically just a big load of nice marketing words, for what it's worth. And as you point out, Steve, saying one thing and doing another is likely to annoy everybody on both sides of things, right? Because bunch of people are annoyed at what you say, and the other bunch of people are annoyed at what you do. Bluebell, I have written down, have a decent history of ousting CEOs, for what it's worth. I have them written down as being involved in ousting a Danone CEO. I may have got that wrong, but I think they are kind of fairly enthusiastic and successful activists a little bit when it comes to kind of moving people along here.
Yeah, they've also tried Glaxo, Glencore, and Vivendi as well. So they are very heavy on the issue. So I've watched a couple of talks with Larry Fink that have happened since this has taken part, and Fink is basically the brunt of the case. The problem is that basically BlackRock is this huge asset manager. It has almost a 10% sway in almost every company you can think of, simply because its assets under management are so heavy. Fink has to try and vote in the best interests of his shareholders, and I think, unfortunately, depending on your view on the climate, I guess, is still a fan of hydrocarbons. He thinks that we will be using them for another 70 years. He's more interested in, rather than us just cutting off oil and gas straight away, he's more focused on us developing the science to carbon capture and things like that, because he just doesn't think we'll be off hydrocarbons anywhere near the rate that people seem to think we are. So that draws the ire of a lot of people. They've called. There's been a number of the House representative parties who want Fink to come and explain why he has so much power and why he feels like he should use it. So one of Fink's ideas is that he would start to divest the voting power down to mutual funds, to beneficial owners, and eventually he sees crypto and blockchain as a way that he will be able to fully tokenize the securities and actually send them all the way down to, the retail investor to be able to vote, to kind of wash his hands of the situation. Because I don't think anybody thinks Fink is necessarily a bad CEO. I think a lot of people think that Fink is just not carrying out the wishes of the ownership correctly, which, when you've got two sides of a political divide that's so far away from each other and can agree on nothing, Fink seems to be in like a lose-lose situation.
What do they want? What do they want him to do? Obviously, he's got his personal opinions, right? Hydrocarbons, whatever.
Quit.
It's stupid, isn't it? It's like what do you? Okay, so he's got personal views on hydrocarbons, crypto to a point. Like, he hates crypto, but he sees it as the main way to democratize everything, which is the whole point of crypto in the end. We could get into that if you really, really wanted to. But the point is I'm sure everybody knows by now that ESG is a marketing tool and barely anything more, and he's got to sell to customers. He's simply as simple as he needs to sell customers and get them to buy into the fee structure. And once he's got them there, then he starts to make money. And the way he's going to do that is by offering as many products as they can and advertising the products that are most popular at the moment. If those are ESG products, then that's okay. He's a seller and he's a moneymaker and he's able to put his own personal views behind him to do that. Unless, I guess, you have to be like Elon Musk and you have to, whether it's true or not, who knows, you have to be seen to really believe in the outcome of your cause, that you're really changing free speech, or you're electrifying the planet, or whatever. That's not how normal CEOs are done. I mean, what has he got to do? He's got to be like Buffett and go around drinking Coke everywhere. I don't get it.
Well, even Buffett wants to separate out his views from the views of his company, and I kind of respect anyone's right to do that. So Larry Fink can absolutely have views that are anti-ESG as a personal and private human, but he deploys BlackRock's voting rights in support of these kind of things. And I think the big problem that Bluebell has is that, okay, BlackRock advertises itself as a kind of ESG pioneer and then votes for a load of thermal coal initiatives at Glencore and so on, which, you don't necessarily have to live everything out in your own life the way you kind of preach from your company. But equally, I would respect the right of an activist to call out what is misleading sales talk where they see it, I guess.
It's a bit naughty, though, isn't it, as well? That they're kind of saying, like, oh, assets under management at BlackRock have fallen by sort of like 15%. And you think, well, yeah, because the market's fallen 15%. You know what I mean? That's not Larry Fink's fault. I mean, like, if 15% of companies in a good year had pulled their funds out of BlackRock, you'd have been like, well, this is a problem, Larry. You're going to have to sort this. But in a market downturn where the S&P's fallen about 17%, if somebody said Fink's assets are down 15%, you say, he's doing it. He's doing all right. He's doing pretty well.
Like, it's not so bad. The market's down 30%.
It's a strange argument. Anybody who seems to be in favour of ESG, who isn't in favour of it just because it's a good start or it's an A start, anybody who's actually in favour of it as an actual tool for what it's supposed to be, has blatantly never read or looked at the people just turning it into a bit of a game. Do you know what I mean? Like the BPs and the Shells of this world that are doing some things to make themselves green, but they're rated as like some of the greenest companies in the world, which they're blatantly not. So ESG is a start, and anybody basing their whole investing thesis on it has just not read the rules.
Yeah, it's pretty unbelievable.